Okay, let's just dive right in. We've all had that feeling, right?
Yeah.
That the systems that run our lives, democracy, taxes, even retirement, are running on really outdated software.
Totally obsolete. Yeah.
So today we're looking at a set of sources that propose, well, nothing less than a complete, and I mean radical, societal reboot.
That's a good way to put it. This whole deep dive is about a framework called Planetary Demarcy. And it's not just suggesting a few tweaks, it's introducing 10 completely new social technologies. It's a whole new rule book for civilization.
It's a huge mental exercise.
Oh, absolutely. It challenges everything we assume about money, power, and security.
So our mission for you, the learner, is to really analyze how this all fits together.
Yeah.
We're looking for those moments, those elegant alignments where your own self-interest suddenly becomes the very thing that helps everyone else.
Exactly. So we've got 10 ideas and this one critical piece of digital infrastructure that holds it all together.
Okay, where should we start? The money.
Let's start with the economic engine. Because the sources, they are not subtle about what they think is wrong with our current fiscal model. They call the tax system a predator-prey dynamic.
Predator-prey, wow.
Basically, a system that's built on conflict and evasion from the ground up.
And their solution is just to get rid of it.
Pretty much. They introduce what's called the Universal 50% Partnership, or RAU50.
So no income tax, no sales tax. Instead, the collective humanity just becomes a silent 50% partner in everything.
In everything. It's automatic. Every single economic activity, every sale, every bit of wealth that's created, it's just split. 50% to you, 50% to the collective. And this part's key. The collective also shares 50% of the risk.
Okay, hold on. I can already hear you, the listener, thinking, wait a minute, how on earth do they verify my earnings without some kind of insane global surveillance? This sounds like a recipe for fraud.
It's the critical first question. And you're right, it would be impossible without a completely new digital foundation. We'll get to that, I promise. But just looking at the incentive design, the collective isn't just taking 50%, it's also contributing. It provides up to 50% of the initial capital for any new venture, plus the entire shared ecosystem, roads, research, stability, all of it.
So if I start a business and it does well, half goes to the universal fund. But if I fail...
You only carry 50% of that debt. The system, your partner, absorbs the other half. It completely redefines what risk even means.
And that 50% share, it doesn't just get swallowed by bureaucracy.
No, that's the whole point. It becomes the direct source of the planetary dividend, a universal income, paid out equally to every single citizen. The claim is this just vaporizes all fiscal bureaucracy and makes tax evasion impossible.
Because every transaction is just part of the system from the start.
Exactly.
Which flows perfectly into their next idea, number 3. Enlightened selfishness. This isn't about making people better. It's about making the math better.
That's it, precisely. Since 50% of everyone's success everywhere in the world flows directly into your personal dividend, helping someone else succeed is... well, it's the smartest and most rational investment you could possibly make for yourself.
It flips the whole worldview. You go from a zero-sum game where my competitor failing is good for me,
right,
to a positive-sum game.
Yeah.
If I sabotage someone, anyone, I'm literally cutting my own paycheck. Economic envy just stops making sense.
And this idea of keeping wealth moving, keeping it flowing is so central it leads to idea 9, which is a direct attack on wealth just sitting there. They call it the evaporating money problem.
You're talking about compound interest.
Yeah.
The idea that money makes money just by existing.
Yeah, and the sources are really provocative on this. They call it a mathematical tyranny. It's this infinite growth model clashing with a very finite physical world. It's designed to create crises.
So how do you stop that?
They introduced something called selective oxidation, or demarrage, technically. Basically, any liquid capital that isn't invested, so just cash sitting in an account doing nothing, it automatically and constantly depreciates. Just a little bit, say 1% a month.
Whoa, okay, but wait. If my digital money is shrinking, why don't I just take it all out and buy, I don't know, gold bars or real estate? Wouldn't that just cause massive inflation in asset prices?
But that's the built-in defense. The depreciation only applies to liquid capital, money sitting still. If you take that money and buy a house, you've invested it. It has flowed back into the real economy. That's exactly what the system wants you to do.
Oh, I see. So it's not punishing wealth or investment. It's attacking stagnation.
Exactly. It forces the wealthiest people, purely out of self-interest, to constantly reinvest and revitalize the economy. It's a complete inversion of how we think about wealth. It guarantees perpetual economic renewal.
Okay, so we've got the rules for the money. But who makes these rules? Who manages this giant universal fund. This pushes us from economics to power, and that's idea 2, the end of professional politics.
Right. The sources argue that career politicians, parties, lobbies, all these entrenched power structures are just fundamentally incompatible with a system designed for constant flow. So they're abolished.
All of them.
All of them. In their place, you have the Sovereign Citizen Assembly, and its members are chosen by sortition.
A lottery.
An ultra-brief rotating lottery. Mandates could be as short as a single month, just drawn at random from the entire population.
A month? I mean, how could anyone get anything done? How do you even learn the rules of procedure in a month? That feels like a recipe for chaos.
Well, the design principle is what they call anti-fragility. If someone's only there for 30 days, a lobbyist can't capture them. But you're right about competence, which is why there's a radical separation of duties. The assembly, the citizens, they only define the what. The goals, the values, the moral direction, the how, the actual execution is done by hired professional managers.
So, experts.
Yeah.
Engineers, economists, planners.
Exactly. But here's the kicker, the accountability. These managers are held liable with their personal wealth for malpractice or incompetence.
You're kidding.
Not at all. It's the ultimate skin in the game. A pretty powerful incentive to be competent.
No kidding. And this whole structure, this deep interdependence, leads to idea 4, which is what they call the planetary marriage.
It's a provocative metaphor for sure, but it describes the reality of the AU-50 system. It's an involuntary universal partnership you're born into.
Commitment is total.
Completely. A tech breakthrough in Seoul or an earthquake in Santiago. The success and the loss are shared by everyone, financially.
But how does that work in practice? How do you quantify the loss from an earthquake and share it? It seems a bit abstract.
It's just math. If a region gets hit by a disaster, the common fund automatically pays for the relief and rebuilding. That cost comes from the universal pool, which means the planetary dividend for everyone on Earth sees a tiny fractional dip for that period.
So if I try to sabotage another country's economy,
you are directly attacking your own bank account.
It makes xenophobia, racism, nationalism. It makes them economically suicidal. Solidarity isn't a nice idea anymore. It's just rational.
It's baked into the structure. It channels self-interest toward cooperation.
But okay, if this marriage is involuntary, you have to have a way out, an escape hatch.
And they do. That's idea 5. The right to total disconnection. They call it island mode.
Island mode.
Yep. Article 14. It's the system's philosophical pressure release valve. Anyone or any group can choose to opt out completely. You renounce the dividend, the protection, all of it, and you live by your own rules.
But you can come back.
You can always rejoin. And that's the test, right? The system's legitimacy rests on being so demonstrably better that people choose to participate. It's based on attraction, not coercion.
And holding this entire social architecture together is the master principle, idea 10, the principle of least action.
Which is straight out of physics. The idea that light, planets, everything in nature follows the path of least resistance.
And they're applying that to society?
Exactly. And this is the real genius of the design. You engineer society so that the path of greatest collective benefit is also the easiest, most frictionless path for the individual. You don't fight egoism, you harness it.
So virtue is achieved through smart design, not through constant moral struggle.
You got it. The alignment of incentives is the ultimate social technology.
Speaking of alignment, let's pivot to security and health. Idea 6 is security through abundance, which sounds great, but what does it mean?
It means abolition.
Oof, armies.
Of national armies and the entire military-industrial complex. The logic is that you achieve real security by removing the root causes of war, which they define as artificial scarcity and need, and the planetary dividend eliminates those.
So what's left? What protects us?
A minimal planetary protection force. And its mandate is strictly limited to actual existential threats.
Like asteroids.
Pandemics.
Exactly. Asteroids, supervolcanoes, global plagues, things that threaten all of humanity. It's explicitly forbidden from ever getting involved in human-on-human conflict. All that money once spent on war just goes into the common good.
And that same logic, that structural guarantee, it also reshapes how we handle personal risk. Which brings us to idea 7, the end of private insurance.
Yeah, the sources argue that private insurance has this perverse incentive, right? Charge as much as you can in premiums, pay out as little as you can in claims.
Sure.
This model replaces it with 2 universal funds, financed directly from the common fund. You have a common health fund, the FSC, and a solidarity risk fund, the FSR. And when you remove the profit motive, The focus must shift completely to prevention.
Completely. And the sources claim an immediate side effect is a kind of benign, massive deflation because all those hidden insurance costs just vanish from the price of everything.
And this lets the health fund, the FSC, set a truly audacious goal. Idea 8, curing old age.
It's a huge shift. If you're not profiting from managing chronic illness for decades, your entire economic incentive flips.
So instead of just treating the symptoms of aging forever,
The system is incentivized to find a definitive cure. The FSC literally reclassifies aging senescent cells, telomere shortening, all of it, as a single treatable disease, not an inevitability.
and with the resources of the entire planet, plus advanced AGI, focused on that one problem.
The sources project that major breakthroughs in longevity, real-life extension could happen in a matter of decades. It's the ultimate common good investment.
But none of this works. Not the AU50, not the accountable managers, none of it. Without that digital foundation you mentioned, it needs total transparency and total privacy at the same time.
Which sounds like a paradox.
Right. So let's get into segment 4, the digital bedrock.
Absolutely. The underpinning for the entire thing is what they call the rule of gold, the principle of citizen data sovereignty.
Meaning?
You, and only you, are the absolute owner and controller of your data, period. It's the complete opposite of today, where your data is in 100 different silos, the banks, the hospitals, some tech companies.
And they're all selling it and using it without our real control.
Exactly. The solution proposed is the common vault. Think of it as one single, decentralized, but unified, ultra-encrypted place where all of your data lives. Financial, medical, legal, everything. It's your digital self, and you hold the only key.
So if a bank needs to check if I'm good for a loan, they can't just ask for my bank statements.
Nope. They have to send a query to your vault, and you have to give explicit granular permission for that one query. They can't copy the data, they can't keep it, and you can revoke that permission instantly.
How do they verify anything without seeing the data?
This is the really clever tech part. They use something called zero-knowledge proofs.
Okay, that sounds dense. Break that down for us, for you, the listener.
Yeah, it's a bit of a head-scratcher at first. But imagine this. A zero-knowledge proof lets the bank confirm a fact without seeing the data that proves the fact. So their system can ask your vault, is this person's net worth over X amount? And your vault can answer yes or no, truthfully, without ever revealing your actual balance or a single transaction.
They get the proof without the knowledge.
Exactly.
The implications of that are huge. First, the entire surveillance advertising industry. Gone.
Vanishes overnight. Second, bureaucracy is dead. An AI can just query your vault, verify you meet all the requirements for something, and approve it instantly. No more forms, ever.
And third, no more spam. No more digital harassment.
Yay.
If no one has your contact info without your explicit revocable permission, silence.
Blissful silence.
But any centralized vault, even a decentralized one, has a weak point. What about a court order? Or a medical emergency where I'm unconscious? There has to be a critical exception protocol.
There is. It's secured by threshold cryptography, which is basically a divided key system. Your master encryption key is digitally shattered into, say, 5 fragments.
And you give those fragments to different people?
To different independent entities, a superjury, a professional auditor, the system's own AI, a rotating judge. No single one of them has any power.
It's like a nuclear launch code system.
A very good analogy. To temporarily rebuild your key and access the vault under a strict judicial order, for example, you'd need a high consensus. Maybe 4 of those 5 key holders would have to agree to combine their fragments.
And I'm guessing every single attempt is logged.
Every attempt, successful or not, is logged, and you are notified immediately. Any abuse leads to catastrophic penalties for those involved. It makes unauthorized access just institutionally toxic.
So when you pull back and look at the whole thing, the 10 ideas and this digital foundation, you see how they all lock together. You can't have one without the others.
It's a fully integrated architecture. The demurrage on money needs the sortition assembly to direct its flow, which needs the common vault for transparent data, and the whole thing is guided by that principle of least action. It's all just math. Mathematical design to reduce conflict and maximize prosperity.
What really gets me is the diagnosis. It treats things we blame on bad, human nature, corruption, greed, division, as basically software bugs. They're failures of our obsolete social technologies. The goal isn't to create better humans. It's to build a smarter game.
Yeah.
It makes you question everything. The idea that taxes or professional politicians are permanent. Maybe they're just old tech waiting to be replaced.
Our current system is built on the belief that you have to force people to be good. that it takes this constant heroic moral effort to work for the common good.
But if that principle of least action is right, if the easiest path can also be the best path, it leaves you with a really provocative thought. What part of your own life, your job, your finances, your personal goals, could you redesign right now so that your path of least resistance was also the most beneficial one for your community?